Hello everyone, thank you for watching this video. Okay, in this part of today's video, right, we're going to look at addition and subtraction of algebraic fractions of a few various types. There are a few couple of summary of the different types, so I'm going to go through some of the questions right now. Alright, let's begin with the first type. This type is on questions, algebraic fractions with distinct denominators. So for distinct denominators, right, you will notice that, for example, over here, the denominator is p minus 3 and the other denominator is p plus 2. They are totally not the same, so they are called distinct denominators. So the first step for this kind of thing, we will always check, number one, is there anything that we can do to factorize the denominator? So we must always make sure if it's a quadratic denominator at the bottom, we must be able to make sure that we factorize it. But however, for this one over here, this is just p minus 3 and this is p plus 2, so it's not a quadratic factor. We do not need to factorize it. So then we move on to the second step. What we need to do is to make sure we get them into a same denominator. So this one will be p minus 3 and I will write it down first. So this is p plus 2, right? So what do we have? We have the distinct denominators, and hence we need to multiply additional denominators to it. Okay, like that. So that they can be the same denominator. So here, since we have the factor p minus 3, but p plus 2 is missing, we will multiply by p plus 2 to both the numerator and the denominator. Okay, and we'll combine it into one single denominator, one single fraction with the same denominator, p minus 3, p plus 2. Next step, we will need to expand, multiply out the numerators. So 2 times p, 2p, 2 times 2. Always remember to multiply to both the terms, right? So this one will be 2 times 2 is 4. Right? In this case, this question is an addition, so there's no change in sign. If it's a subtraction, please be careful about the change in sign. Right? So this one over here, the numerator will be 5 times p, that will be plus 5p. 5 times negative 3, that will be negative 50. Okay? But until this step, there wouldn't be much marks yet because we need to simplify our fraction. So simplifying the numerator, we have 2p with 5p. So 2p plus 5p to give me 7p. And we have 4 minus 15. Right? So 4 minus 15, that will give me negative 11. So some students make common mistake. You'll put 4 and 15 together and become negative 19 or something. So please make sure you use your calculator for your calculation. Alright, and denominator will always keep the denominator factorized. Try not to expand your denominator. Have you gotten the answer? If that's the case, we are good with this type of a basic type for distinct denominators. Let us move on to the second type. The second type is a quadratic denominator. Observe the following. This denominator here has 3a minus 5 whole thing square. So when it comes in the form of the whole thing square over here, okay, it means it's a quadratic factor, and the power 2 means I'm going to repeat the denominator twice, 2 times. At the same time, I check the other denominator. Is there anything that we can factorize? So there's nothing that we need to factorize, so we shall move on with our next step. I will write the first fraction over here, the denominator. I write it as a repeated factor. So I'm going to put it 2 times 3a minus 5 with one more 3a minus 5. And the other fraction will be just negative 2 bracket 3a minus 5. And we observe we have 2 factors over here, 3a minus 5, 3a minus 5. However, there is only one factor over here. We need to multiply one more factor to it. Right? So we need to have another 3a minus 5 plus 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 3a minus 5 3a minus 5. Okay, the common things to take notice, this one is a whole thing with a bracket square, okay, not individual term, not the square of the individual terms. And now we move on to combine these into one single denominator, 3a minus 5, 3a minus 5. Okay, now we're going to multiply our numerator, so we expand. So this is just a, nothing to multiply, so I'll write down a. The next part over here, be careful, this is negative 2, so it's a subtraction, right? A negative 2. So in this case, let me just highlight this, negative 2, right? The whole thing needs to be multiplied to 3a. So negative 2 times 3a will give you negative 2 times 3 will be 6a. Be careful of the sign. So subtraction, remember to change the sign. The second part, right? Negative 2 times the whole of negative 5. So negative 2 times negative 5 will give you positive. Yeah. Okay, please make sure you remember to change the sign. And now after that, we're going to move on to simplifying our fractions. So this is 3a minus 5. 3a minus 5. Simplifying a minus 6a. This is negative 5a. If you are not very sure, please do use your calculator to check. Okay, plus 10. Now, usually students will stop down here, and in this case, the final answer is still correct, but just something to take note of. Observe our numerator. Is there any common factor over here? There's actually a common factor over here, right? So what we need to do by right, okay, we need to always double check. Can this be factorized? Is there anything that we can factorize? We must reduce it to the simplest form for fraction, always the factorized form. So let's take a look. I have a common factor over here, 5 and 10. So both of them can be divided by 5. So in this case, I'm going to factorize out a common factor, 5. So when I have 5a, negative 5a plus 10, I'm dividing it by 5. 5 divided by 5 will give me left negative a, and 10 divided by 5 will give me positive 2. Then I'll put it in bracket, negative a plus 2. Then I will have 3a minus 5, 3a minus 5. Did you get your answer? Let's move on to the third type, 3a. Now this type are the denominators of a quadratic form. Okay, what are quadratic form? You observe the power for a, and remember they have a power 2 square. In this case, this one over here, it does not have any brackets. They are the terms individually squared on their own. So for this type, we're going to use the quadratic special product. So a square minus b square can be factorized into a plus b, a minus b. So first thing, let's check our denominators. Which of the denominator can be factorized? So the second fraction, the denominator, can be factorized. So this one, we need to factorize this one. So let's take a look at this. Now we have two numbers. First one, square root 4 will give you the number 2. And square root of 1 is still 1. So in this case, we are going to change this into, I'm going to keep this fraction over here the same, plus 5. Now I'm going to factorize it into 2 brackets. Okay, so what times 1 gives you 4x squared? So 2x times 2x gives you 4x squared. What times what gives you 1? 1 times 1 gives you 1. But remember, we don't want any x terms in between. So there will be two different signs. One is plus, the other one is minus. Okay, have you gotten this part of the concept? Okay, if that's the case, if you're okay with it, let's move on. Next part, So now we observe that we have the factor over here. This is 2x minus 1. This is 2x minus 1. But on the second fraction, there's one more factor. So one more factor is missing. We need another to add in one more factors to this fraction in front. So I will have another. In this case, this will be 2x plus 1. 2x plus 1 multiplied to the whole fraction. Okay, and then now we combine it into one single fraction. Right? Next, we expand the numerator together. So this is going to be 1 times the whole of it. It will be just simply 2x plus 1. Next, this is an addition, so I'm going to continue with plus 5. But it's not the final answer yet. We got to simplify our fraction. Okay, now usually this will be your final answer, but always double check. Is there anything that we can do to factorize the numerator? So there is a common factor in this case, so we can actually proceed further to factorize our numerator. I shall keep my denominator the same, no change. But now there's a common factor over here, 2x plus 6. Both the number 2 and 6 can be divided by 2. So 2x divided by 2 will give me x. And 6 divided by 2 will give me the number 3. So in this case, do not throw away your common factor. So factorize out 2 bracket x plus 3. Have you gotten the answer? Let's move on to the next type. Okay, the next type of the question is slightly a little bit harder. It's also of the same pattern of this form, where it's a squared minus b squared, but involve a little bit of change in sign. But first, let's write down our a squared minus b squared. This can be factorized into a plus b, a minus b, right? Next, let's observe which of the following denominators is a quadratic expression that we can factorize. So we can factorize x squared minus 9. So what is x squared minus 9? X squared, x times x, 9. We're going to think of square root of 9. Square root of 9 is the number 3. So we're going to write this into 15 over 2 brackets. Okay, and this one I'm going to copy down the same. Right? But now this is x squared minus 9, so x times x gives me x squared. 3 times 3 gives me 9. Notice there are no x terms or whichever, so there will be two different signs, 1 plus, 1 minus. Okay, so now what we are going to do next, we are done with this already, but we're going to observe our denominator. This is x plus 3. Over here, there is no x plus 3. This is x minus 3. Okay, but this one over here is not totally the same. Same, but different. This is 3 minus x. Notice the sign over here. This is positive x, but this is negative x. They are of a different sign. And this is minus 3. This is positive 3. They are of a different sign. So what can we do to make the sign the same? What we're going to do, we're going to multiply by a negative 1. So I'm going to multiply by negative 1 to our denominator. Okay, one negative sign for only one numerator. All denominator are only one pair. So in this case, I'm going to multiply it to my denominator to change the sign. So the moment I multiply this one become minus. This is still 3, but over here, the 3 becomes negative 3. We change sign for this. So 3 becomes negative 3, and negative x become positive x. Okay, some of you might like to write it directly as x minus 3. So it will be the same this way. Next thing, now the moment we have the denominators the same, here this is x plus 3. There is no x plus 3 over here. Okay, but we have x minus 3. This is the same x minus 3 over here. So one factor is missing. We are missing the red color factor. Let us add the red color factor to it. And that will be the x plus 3. Okay. Now observe and make sure, take note, this is a subtraction. So there will be a change in the sign. Right, I'll write down my numerator 15. But this one over here, this is negative 3 with the negative sign. Multiplied to x, multiplied to 3. Negative 3 multiplied to x is minus 3x. Negative 3 multiplied to 3 will become negative 9. Do you make sure you get this step correct? Do you get the correct answer? Now let us simplify this. I'm writing it on the left hand side now, right hand side now because I have no space, but please enter to the next line if possible. Next one, we simplify the numerators. 15 minus 9, that will give me a 6 minus 3x, and this will be x plus 3, x minus 3. Make a guess, is this going to be your final answer? Is this going to be the final answer? No. Okay, we double check. There's a common factor in our numerator. So 6 and 3 are both divisible by 3, can be divided by 3. So we're going to factorize out the common factor 3. So 6 divided by 3 will give me the factor 2. And 3x divided by 3, negative 3x divided by 3 will give me negative x. So I keep my common factor 3 and then write down 2 minus x. And we have our original denominator, x plus 3, x minus 3. Have you gotten the concept? And that will be our final answer. Let's move on to the last two types. Okay, last type of question here. Type 4, denominators of the form ax squared plus bx plus c. For this, you need to do factorization. There are many different methods that you can use. The box method, the trial and error cross method, or you can use the calculator method. Okay, for me, I'll just use the trial and error method. Okay, so in this case, observe which is the one that is a quadratic factor. This is the quadratic factor, so we need to factorize this. So I'm going to sidetrack and do my working at the side. X squared plus 3x plus 2. I'm doing my cross method. Okay, of course you can use the other method. The first column over here, these two are multiplication. I'm going to write my x squared and my number. So 1 times what gives you x squared? We have x times x. What times what can give you the number 2? So we have 1 times 2. Now we're going to cross it. X times 1 gives you 1 unit of x. X times 2 gives you 2 units of x. In this column over here, this is the addition column. So we're going to make sure we get the number positive 3x. So I want a positive 3x. How are we going to add this up? I need a positive sign for both of them. And I bring over my sign, and I have these 2 brackets. Okay, so first I've changed my denominator, quadratic denominator, to x plus 1, x plus 2, minus 3 over x plus 1. Okay, now observe our factors. We have x plus 1 and x plus 2. Here there's only one factor, x plus 1. We need to make the denominator the same. So we need to add in one more of the other factor. So this will be x plus 2, x plus 2. Okay? Now we're going to combine it into one single fraction, x plus 1, x plus 2 as our denominator. Bring down the numerator. So this is just x. Okay, the next portion, expand out. Be careful. Negative 3, negative 3 times x, negative 3 times 2. So negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Next part, negative 3 times positive 2 is negative 6. Remember to change your sign. And let's simplify this. We have our denominator, right? And check x minus 3, that will give you a negative 2x minus 6. Is this going to be your final answer? No, right? Because what is there? There's a common factor here, right? So we can factorize out the common factor. In fact, the negative sign is also common. So what we can do, we can factorize out a negative 2. So negative 2x divided by negative 2 will give you a positive x. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 will give you a positive 3. Okay, those of you who are not very good in handling negative sign, you can factorize out just the number 2 on your own. So in this case, I write down negative 2 bracket x plus 3 followed by x plus 1, x plus 2. Okay, so I went through the main few questions already, the basic type. The last question is a bonus question for you to test your skills. Please do try, right? Hopefully you have gotten the concept for this portion and keep this video for your revision, WA, and at the end of your exam next time. Alright, thank you for today and I'll see you the next time. Bye bye.